I'm here with Chris Powell, who's the Secretary-Treasurer of the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, which has done so much for the gold market in terms of disclosures, education, and all types of other things over the past 10 years. I think it's probably been one of the most important and biggest forces in the gold market to help people understand what's really going on behind the scenes. It's a pleasure to speak with you, Chris.
Oh, and with you, James.
You're going to be talking at the Cheviot Sound Money Conference. Can you give us a little bit of flavor as to what the theme of your presentation is going to be?
Yes, I want to review a lot of the documentation that GATA has collected over the years showing either a Western central bank interest in manipulating the gold market or plans to manipulate the gold market and other evidence that this manipulation has taken place. This is official documentation, not hypothesis or speculation or conspiracy theory or anything like that. And then I want to explain what GATA is doing right now with legal action to show this surreptitious manipulation and review evidence that other central banks are in on it, and that the financial press is just so negligent in covering the gold market.
Yeah, I agree. But let me get back up a little bit here so we can establish some definitions. Manipulation is a hot word. Some people might react differently than the way you and I view the word manipulation. How do you define that term? How do you use it when you talk about manipulation of the gold market? Are we talking just about government intervention, or is there something more beyond that?
Well, I think the manipulation is largely a government operation, but it's undertaken usually now through intermediaries, through investment houses operating largely for the U.S. government. By manipulation, I mean generally suppression of the price of gold, or making sure that a real free market does not develop in the monetary metals, and preventing free markets in the monetary metals, I will show, has been U.S. government policy going back for many decades, if you simply will look at the archived records, which are in the public domain.
This is, of course, music to my ears, because you've published so much of my stuff over the past 10 years. But just to play devil's advocate a little bit here, why would the government want to keep the gold price capped? Why do they want to prevent a free market in gold? Because
gold, and to a lesser extent silver, are competitive currencies. And because, as Lawrence Summers, when he was a professor of economics at Harvard, wrote in an academic paper in the Journal of Political Economy in 1988, the price of gold is an enormous determinant, not only of the value of currencies, but of the level of interest rates and the value of government bonds. Gold is a very small market. If gold was just another commodity like cotton or soybeans, government would not care so much about it. Government is determined to protect the government bond market and to suppress interest rates, and that's why the governments, particularly the United States, are manipulating the gold market, because gold determines interest rates and the value of government bonds.
As some say, gold is the canary in the monetary coal mine. Rising gold price means that things are not well with the currency, and therefore governments and central banks are doing a poor job in managing that currency relative to its natural competitor.
Yes, and this is not the only rigging of data or market information. We see it, the same kind of rigging in the inflation data that's produced by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. You've written often about the rigging of the money supply data, or the withdrawal from publication of the M3 data. This is government massaging the information that reaches the public so that the public gets a false impression.
To what end? What does government expect? And do they expect that by massaging this information they can do that forever?
I think so. I mean, this is government power. This is central bank power. If gold is the great discipliner of governments, it has the power to eviscerate currencies and eviscerate government bonds. Governments learned long ago that either gold would be their master or they would be gold's master. One of the documents that GATA has published is is a CIA memo from the 1960s outlining a plan by which the government, it says, will remain the masters of gold. Gold is something that the market can participate through, that individuals can participate through, and that can get out of control. Either government's going to have the power or the people and the markets are going to have the power. And there's no way the government wants the markets and the people to have the power.
Yeah, I tend to believe that markets and people in the end are always much bigger than any government or group of governments. Do you share that view, or you're taking a more pessimistic viewpoint?
I think the issue is yet to be determined, James.
So you're open-minded as to whether we're going to go that way or not?
We're doing our best to liberate planet Earth.